So Tommy Robinson remains under attack by the British deep state every time. No spin, no bias, no censorship. I'm Dan Wootton. This is Outspoken episode number 398. And breaking today, Tommy Robinson threatened again upon entering the UK as the deep state does all it can to shut down the main man challenging the Islamist takeover of Britain.
Does it say that there's a...
Geez, how am I going to get this right?
Is it High Court? Do you want to help?
How am I going to do this?
Are you? Is it in the file?
Hang on, Di, I'm just trying to get the camera right.
It's in the file, yeah. Another country that being in the file.
No, what's going wrong?
With the entire show day for an exclusive interview to respond. I mean, Tommy, we didn't know if we were going to make it for a while, given what went down.
I didn't think I was making it. No. So that went down in Tenerife. I've been in Tenerife. I went to New Year's Eve. I wanted to go into the New Year's
Oh, it's his roof that's crooked, not mine.
So I went to Tenerife.
Wow. Hi, Di.
I sent him back actually.
Oh, it is mine, hang on.
I got the 7 p.m. flight. Because I always suspect this anyway. And when I got to the airport, my passport flagged up with the Spanish. And they said, well, we need to stop. Then they got on the phone and they said, someone's looking for you. A judge is looking for you. I said, what do you mean the judge is looking for you? Is there a warrant? What's going on? And then at the end he says, no, when you get combat back, you need to contact the judges or you will be arrested. So I guess this is to do, I don't know if you saw the other week, High Court sheriffs went looking for me at my mother's house. So when I got 18 months last year, when I got 18 months for the documentary Silenced, because it was a civil offence, not criminal, not only did I get the 18 months, but then the government, the Attorney General's office, added up every penny they'd spent on that case and then said, give me the invoice as I walked out of jail. So as I walked out of prison, I was handed a documentation paper. I think that for that there was 107. I think it adds up to nearly 200 grand. But for that, there was like 103 or 107,000 pounds of costs for that part. So they gave me that and said I have however long to pay it or I have to go back to court. Obviously, I haven't come out of jail and paid 103,000 pounds. I don't have 103,000 pounds sat in the bank account, so they haven't received their money. The High Court warrant officer then went to my mum's recently. I don't live with my mum, so I rang them up and said that I don't live there. But they come to repossess possessions that I own. So. And then I guess, because this happened to me a few weeks ago when I was at another foreign airport and they stopped me again and said, no, you can't leave until we have proof of address. And that was away, that was in Barcelona. I couldn't leave until I had a proof of address. I said, what for? They said, it's coming from your country. You need a proof of address.
Yeah, so the deep state psychological warfare absolutely continues. It's insane. By the way, I should also say, congratulations, Tommy. This is the first time that you've been on since.
Hey, baby, good to see you.
And by the way, they voted in their millions last year, made you the greatest Briton of 2025. Were you surprised?
I was surprised. It's a great feeling, mate, if I'm honest. It's a great feeling, man. Because I have my ups and downs and I feel good and I feel bad. And then it was a great feeling to see that. Because I think sometimes I don't give myself time to think about what's just gone on. I've just done that now. That's why I went away. I went away again. I thought I needed just some time, walking, chilling, gym, routine. I got a bit lost before Christmas there.
Totally.
So when I was thinking about it, I thought, Jesus, man, when I was thinking about the last 12 months.
Started the year in prison, ended with Unite the Kingdom. It was a ride. But look, lots coming up from Tommy today because he will also respond to this fresh criticism that has come from Steve Laws and Mike Graham.
Tommy Robinson will do because he's a traitor.
Yeah, well, he gets hundreds of thousands of people going to his rallies. How many people go to yours?
Yeah, but he's getting hundreds of thousands of people leading them astray, and they're only going to that rally because it's the only rally in town.
No, Tommy Robinson, man of the decade, all of his mates are constantly saying, so sorry to Tommy, you called him names. Well, the last time I saw him on social media talking about, he called me a pedo. He's called me all sorts of other nasty names. I don't really mind. It doesn't bother me. I don't like
Yeah, I'm good, Bobo.
Wanker. And I'm never going to change my view.
Meanwhile, it's Americans realizing the deep shit we now find ourselves.
Even the Muhammad, last prophet name, Muhammad Sallallahu is the top name in UK. The born world, yeah.
What do you speak? Bengali. Okay. Does the government help you with food and housing? Yes, they do. Yes. How long have they been helping you for?
When I come.
Oh, so they helped you for 6 years? Oh, they've been helping you for 6 years? Okay.
And the Muslims, let's be honest, they're breeding like rabbits. That's like part of their mission, is to have kids, have tons of kids, have 6, 7, 8 kids, and win by multiplication. So Christians need to start having babies. Sorry, but we do. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry, but no more Muslims.
So much more of that in the digest next. Also coming up on the show today, will Tommy sue Nick Lowles of Hope Not Hate for false cocaine claims? And why on earth is that OnlyFans degenerate Lily Phillips just been baptized? We've got the astonishing video for you. Then we'll move over to Substack for the royal uncancelled after show. Prince William's fury at the return of his brother Harry because of the government security U-turn. All the latest with our royal mastermind, Angela Levin. No Union Jackass or Greatest Britain today because of the special edition of the show with Tommy Robinson. It will return tomorrow, though. So now, let's go. So Tommy Robinson remains under attack by the British deep state every time he attempts to enter his own country. This was the scene at Spanish customs last night before he boarded his plane.
For a fight? No, I don't know. No. So is it
Christopher Jackson.
That's me. That's me. Yeah. So what does it say? That there's a judge or a warrant or police or no? Is it
I knew he had another name, but I didn't know what it was.
High Court judge?
Wait.
Sorry?
You're from Lato.
Yeah. It's me. It's me.
Oh, Diane, I can't bully you. You bully us.
Because when I travelled recently.
Bobo, this is that guy Tommy Robinson from your country. He's getting a lot of support. Sure, you heard of him.
From Barcelona, and they stopped me then.
I don't know who is looking for you. I only know that it's mira, oye, ¿qué es esto?
In the UK, yeah?
Yeah, he used to be a soccer hooligan.
Okay.
And he's only small, Bobo. I've seen him take on guys like 6 foot. He's only like about 5'7". He's got a big ticker. I really like this guy. We got someone similar like that now raising in Australian politics. They're not of any party, but they're getting a lot of influence because they believe the same thing Tommy does.
It doesn't say.
A ver, cuando llega eso, hay que llamar a eso y luego ya porque es la oficina.
Is it Interpol? It's Interpol, yeah.
So Interpol seemingly now involved, but Tommy knows this is all about the British government cracking down on him for calling out the Islam threat to our way of life.
You are right.
And New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. The 31st. The New Year's Eve. The day, New Year's Eve.
No,
We'll be on there. When did I come here? What date?
What date?
1st of January.
December?
December 1st.
Ah, vale. Ok, el 31.
El 31
El 31 de diciembre.
Vale. Okay, okay.
So it's an Interpol stop on behalf of the UK.
Vale, muy bien.
Ok, perfecto. Venga, gracias. Hasta luego.
Hola.
I can go?
Go, go, go.
They stop you?
Yo creo, o sea,
Bueno.
when you arrive to United Kingdom,
They'll be waiting.
call to the judge. I don't know
Okay.
who is looking for you.
No.
But,
There's someone.
search for
For me.
looking your mail or
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
The next step.
Yes. Arrest. Okay. Okay. Another country, they're being involved. Arrest one. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
He said this once he was on board the plane.
I was just saying to someone in the queue, I said every time I go for the airport, I just worry about what's going to happen next. So I actually took my son earlier to the airport at 12 o'clock and flew him home separately because I don't like to go through the airports with my children. So let's see what happens when I land. Hopefully I'll just get free pass through, but according to them, there's an Interpol notice from a UK judge wants me. Story of my life.
What's so disturbing is that as the British deep state and MSM continues this attack, and it is an attack, it's psychological warfare against Tommy Robinson, Americans are wide awake to the threat and prepared to ask the hard questions and call for the bold action when it comes to Islam that still terrifies the UK's elite class, even as our country slips away before our very eyes, something the sound comedian Andrew Lawrence summed up brilliantly in this joke, which is going viral.
I grew up in South London. Yeah. Now I live in Pakistan. I haven't moved.
The stats are impossible to deny, but very easy to ignore. No mainstream journalist is going to tell you the truth about this, but Chris Davies of True Conservative Media has broken it down. I wanted to share it with you today. Europe's most dangerous cities. The UK, Bradford to be precise, tops the table for the most dangerous cities in Europe based on citizen perception. In all, England features 6 times in the top 30. Coincidentally, if you believe in coincidence, which I don't, in every city, the Muslim population is over 10%, based on 2021 census data from the Office for National Statistics. This therefore excludes illegal immigrants. So you've got Bradford, 30.5% Muslim, Coventry, 10.5%, Birmingham, 29.9%, Manchester, 22.3%, London, 15%, Nottingham, 12.2%. England is not the only country to feature heavily. France has 7 entries in the top 13 cities. Coincidentally, in every case, the Muslim population over 10% there too, including the out-of-control Marseille, which is 20% Muslim. Now, it's so shocking to me that US independent journalists like Nate Friedman, who teamed up with Tommy Robinson on a recent visit here, is doing the work that our legacy media refuses to. Watch.
Also, there's someone that was not speechless was a store owner, I believe, that you spoke with. Very concerned. Let's listen to that.
I see that the Muslim community in the UK is really growing.
I think Islam is the top religious, growing in UK as well.
In the UK, yeah.
Even the Muhammad, Prophet, last prophet name, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is the top name in UK. The born wise, yeah.
Muhammad is the top name in the UK.
Yeah. Getting on that topic of baby names, Muhammad being the top name in the UK. Was there truth to that? Maybe what were your takeaways there speaking to the store?
Yeah, absolutely. It's widely reported that Muhammad is now the #1 name in the UK. I'd ask the audience, does that sound like a headline you would expect from the UK or somewhere like Afghanistan? If you walk around Whitechapel, everywhere you turn, you see at least one Muslim woman with a child. What's interesting is how they're getting the money to do this.
Whitechapel, that's the purple one on Monopoly, I think.
What do you speak?
Bengali.
Bengali, okay. Does the government help you with food and housing?
Yeah.
Yes, they do? Yes. How long have they been helping you for?
When I come.
Oh, so they helped you for 6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, they've been helping you for 6 years? Okay. Now the UK just voted to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. Now, who benefits from that the most? Muslim migrants. The 26% of Muslims living in England and Wales are living in subsidized housing. 32% of Muslims live in overcrowded homes compared to that of 6% from Christians in the UK. The birth rate in the UK is 1.4 children per woman. The Muslim UK birth rate has been cited as high as 3.4. You can conquer a country like this. Is part of that because Muslim people are encouraged to have a lot of children, right?
Yeah, more even we have 5 brothers.
Yeah,
Four of my brothers are in Pakistan. I'm only here. Yeah.
That's incredible work from Nate Friedman. I highly recommend you go and check the whole thing out. And again, I compare our so-called right in the UK to a figure like the great Megyn Kelly, a good friend of
Busby's barking. Back in a sec, guys.
mine in the US, who makes her position on Muslims in politics abundantly clear.
And the Muslims, let's be honest, they're breeding like rabbits. That's like part of their mission, is to have kids, have tons of kids, have 6, 7, 8 kids, and win by multiplication. So Christians need to start having babies. Sorry, but we do. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry, but no more Muslims. We're done. Our values are not aligned. They're just not. I have Muslim friends. It's nothing against them. Their individual, friendships are fine. They as individuals are fine. But Islam is not consistent with the values of America, of the West. They should stay in countries that don't care about keeping church and state separated. They should stay in countries that don't care about protecting free speech. They should stay in countries that don't care about women's rights. That's where Islam can fester and grow. It's great. I mean, I'm sure if that's like your thing and you don't care about like genital mutilation, you might
Andrew,
really
good to
enjoy
see ya.
living in an Islamic country. If you don't mind living in a life as a woman where you have to keep every inch of your body except for your eyeballs covered, yeah, someplace in the Middle East could be for you. It's not my thing. It's not America's thing. And it's not a thing that we should want or encourage in the West. And it's definitely not a thing we should encourage at our governmental level.
But what's going on here in the UK is a debate between so-called civic and ethno-nationalist categories, by the way, that, like Connor Tomlinson, I completely reject. It was depressing, though, for me to see Andrew Gold just shrug off the idea of the white population going extinct in this interview with Steve Laws. Watch.
But those that what you've just presented there would not reverse the demographic decline, would still become a minority in our homeland.
At some point, unfortunately, white people, and I count myself among them, will become a minority and will probably go extinct.
We are a worldwide minority,
Wow.
which is why I take the radical stance that the English have the right to exist. We have the right to our own homeland.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees on that, right?
Yeah.
That's the basis
I think
line.
so. I think so.
I think that's the base line.
It depends what you mean by English. That's the issue.
Well, we already disagree on the meaning of English. So there's that. Okay, but ultimately, with the direction that the country's going, the future of our people is at stake. The most radical stance that we have to take to fix this is okay with me. I don't care what we have to do. I don't care who gets caught in the crossfires. I don't care how much damage gets done along the way, as long as the future of my people is secured. That's my line.
But in that same interview, Steve Laws continued what I believe is a completely unfair attack on Tommy Robinson.
You think the average mum and dad that goes on the school run is going to go out on the street and fight against people because they're brought in?
I think Tommy Robinson will fight against that.
Yeah, Tommy Robinson will do because he's a traitor.
Yeah, well, he gets hundreds of thousands of people going to his rallies. How many people go to yours?
Yeah, but he's getting hundreds of thousands of people, leading them astray, and they're only going to that rally because it's the only rally in town.
Do you have any room in your mind for that you might be wrong?
No.
See, that's the sign of an ideologue.
I don't care.
Yeah, but you might be wrong here. What's going on?
No, I believe I'm right. The future of my people is non-negotiable. I want England to belong to the English.
And now Tommy Robinson is here to respond. Okay, Tommy, loads to go at, but let's kick off with Steve Laws, because this is an interview that has very much divided the right in the UK. What do you want to say to him?
I watched a video of Steve Laws interviewing a girl who had a mixed race child, and he told her.
Busby, come here and I'll lift you down. Come on.
That's what he told her.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. Whites
Yeah,
cannot
got you
become a
on the
minority.
cattle, yeah.
They cannot, and they must not. And the English, white English, have to remain the majority in England. We have to reverse the migration. We have to deal with the demographic replacement of our people in this country, across Europe, across the whole place. Do we need to deport every single non-white British
No,
Christian
don't
person?
go near
No,
that.
we don't.
No.
Are we going to? No, I don't. Would I want us to? No, I would. Because what that would mean is deporting. Remember, you have to understand where I'm from as well. It would mean deporting people that all of us, I'd say pretty much all of us, have a friend or loved one that is of a non-white skin. Yeah? Now, Steve Laws would talk about deporting a mixed-race child like that, but doesn't talk about deporting me. Well, my mother's from Ireland. Yeah. So what's the difference between that? Because I've got an English father, but that little child that he said he wanted to deport had an English mother. So for me, what he does is cause a massive problem, because yes, the public are angry. Yes, the public are frustrated. Yes, the public don't want to become a minority. But let's look at the reality of which numbers who will become a minority too. Because I'll bring you back again to 2013 when I looked at the growth forecast for Luton, my hometown, by 2030. The Pakistani and Bangladeshi community were going to increase by 70 to 77%. The white and black community by 1.2 to 1.4%. If we stopped Islamic immigration, if we dealt with Islam issue, we're not going to become
Come here, Buzz. I'll lift you down this time.
And dealt with the migration. If we dealt with that, okay? Because the Chinese aren't having it. If there's any Chinese here, Japanese here, if there's any Sikhs here, Hindus here, they're not having the birth rate of the Islamic community. It can be dealt with by halting immigration, reversing immigration, getting rid of all of the illegal immigrants without being fucking retards and thinking we're going to take someone whose parents and their parents were born in England and love England. For example, my mate, Isaac, who served in the British military, served for the Royal Marines. Yes, he's black. He's got England tattoos on him. He loves this country. He's probably done more for this country than that fucking little 7-stone dick that was interviewed. And he probably would do more in a fight. He'd be on the front lines more than Steve Laws would. Yeah. So Steve Laws talks about it's the only demonstration in town.
And also Father Calvin Robinson, by the way, would be deported from this country under Steve Laws's plan because one of his parents is non-white. Now,
and then his parents deported, and then all of these things. It's just for me, it's a ridiculous stance. Yeah, for me, it's a ridiculous stance. But the way he's getting wind with it is because people are concerned about becoming a minority, and of course they're concerned.
And Andrew Gold did just shrug it off in that interview. I know he's tried to clarify that, but it wasn't good from my point of view. I come at this from quite an interesting angle, and I reject the labels, by the way, civic nationalist, ethno-nationalist. I reject them because if you take my situation, Tommy, it is quite unique. And I had a row with World by Wolf on X about this because think about it, right? I am English. I am entirely ethnically English, even though I was born in New Zealand. My parents are English. They were born in the United Kingdom. Well, my mum was. My dad was born on a British Army base in Malta. But if you took Steve Laws's prescription to its end point, my family would be deported from New Zealand. Every white person would be deported from Australia. Every white person would be deported from Canada. So that's why I don't sign up to the full prescription of what Steve Laws is saying because it's more complicated.
No, what I think? Steve Laws is going to be deporting fucking no one. Who the fuck is Steve Laws? Steve Laws is going to be deporting no one. The prick's never going to be in power, never going to gain momentum. He's never going to do anything other than spout shit to his little ethno-nationalist group. That's all that's going to happen. So why so many people are having discussions about who's going to be deported and who's not going to be deported because of what Steve Laws says is pretty comical because it's never going to happen. Now, as I said, if Steve Laws wishes to hold a demonstration to have all non-whites deported, go and do it, Steve. Like, please, go and do it. Let everyone know that you're marching through your capital city, through Dover, through whatever city you choose. Go and hold a mass rally, because apparently there's fucking millions of you. Go and hold a mass rally and call for the deportation of everyone that's not ethnically English/white. Go and do it. and see, as we were the only demonstration in town, see how many people turn up to that demonstration. See how many people turn up. And then we can just end this bullshit argument that the majority of the British public want to deport every single person that's not white, because they don't. They just don't. And the reason why there's so many people on a United Kingdom event, the reason why we have exploded, the reason why even under the English Defence League, we were able to galvanise 10,000 people out on the streets. This is 15 years ago when no one could. The reason why that was because we wasn't wanting to deport every single non-white person. We wasn't neo-Nazis. We wasn't racist. We wasn't all of those things. That's the reason they haven't been able to stop us. Now, along comes someone like Steve Laws and whoever else on that side of the argument having these arguments. It just won't work. It's not going to work. It's never going to gain momentum. I don't really understand why. When I see it, I just think, what's the point in sitting down? Steve Laws doesn't have he's not got an organisation. He's not got a mass movement behind him. There's nothing other than he has on the internet, because then you've got Canadians, Americans, Europeans, all of these ethno-nationalists who all want every non-white person deported. Yeah, there's a large group of them spread across the globe, all very organised in their little groups. But as I said, hold a rally, go have a march, go have a demonstration, do a petition if you want, whatever you want to do. Then do it. So you're not, because we're then not the only show in town. There's plenty of shows, there's plenty of demonstrations everywhere. In fact, these wankers, all they do is attach onto other movements and other groups who have already holding their demonstrations. They turn up and unveil their stupid little banners. It's like, well, why are you turning up at an event of an ideology and idea that you don't like? Because everyone knows what we stand for. You can see that by the people singing and performing or speaking on our stages. We don't want them people deported, okay? We want the wrong ones deported. We want people that want to implement Sharia law in this country deported. We want, when you mix oil and water, we want the oil deported.
Yes.
Yeah?
And by the way, we're still talking about deporting millions of people. Millions of people.
And you went through those figures there, percentages. It's all bullshit. Those percentages are bullshit. I sat down with the leading imam, excuse my language, because I sat down with the leading imam in Luton, Kabir Basra, years ago. And when I sat down, I said, what are there? 25, 30,000 Muslims? He said, double it. He said, really, double it. Whatever they tell you, double it. That was a lead imam in his community telling me how many illegals are there. He just said, double it. You can double that for how many of us are in Luton. Double it. So all of those figures, whilst they're shocking, the situation is far, far worse. And in that list of dangerous cities, because it was cities, now when it comes to town, Luton, my hometown, tops the league every single time. Luton tops the league of the worst town to live in, the most violent town to live in. I've just watched this that's been sent, that's gone out this morning, which is the highest drugs. There's a little video here, look.
Drug dealing most rife in the east of
Drug dealing most rife in the east of England. And we get to the top 5 cities.
7% of the town's visible street activity. Now, before naming the top entry, where in the east of England do you think drug activity is most concentrated? This area posts a staggering 22.1% involvement rate, sees millions in dirty money laundered through its vast shadow economy, and perennially ranks among Britain's worst places to live. That place is Luton.
So Luton has 22%. So when they talk about the shadow economy, what is the shadow economy? It's the fruit and veg shops, the chicken shops, it's every cash industry. Literally, we've got a row of shops that's a mile long. There's fruit and veg, chicken shop. Luton has more chicken shops per square mile than anywhere else in the country. Yeah, they are, and now they've gone from chicken shops to barber shops. But it's just Luton tops it. I've lived it, I've experienced it. But because I've experienced it, the difference between probably me and Steve Laws is I understand Steve Laws, and I understand from looking outside and looking in. Remember, I've been in. Yeah? So I've grown up with every culture, every migrant group, St. Lucian, Bulgarians, Italians, Jamaicans, Indians, Chinese. I've gone to that multicultural, diverse school. Yeah? And as I say many times, look.
Yeah, Andrew, certainly BBC done the Donald Trump. Whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, they did set him up there.
If we didn't have Islam in Britain, if there was no Islam, none of to take out every single Muslim and take Islam out of the equation, none of us would ever, you wouldn't know Tommy Robinson, that's for a start. None of us would have topics of conversation to speak about around immigration and the dangers and problems from it. Because the rapes we know in this country, they're coming from the Muslim community, yeah, per se. The immigration, if you want to do, 2003 we had 8,800 rapes, 2023 we had 88,000. Now what does that growth correlate with? It correlates with the growth of the Islamic community. You can literally do a graph, the same for Sweden. I've looked through each country. In fact, we're putting together a 5-year vision for where we take the media and cultural movement that we're planning now. So we've been doing all this behind the scenes stuff of planning a cultural movement, a media movement, a mass international citizen journalist umbrella movement. And the focus for me, I want to do this. I want to go into the Islamic Republic of Sweden, the Islamic Republic of Norway, the Islamic Republic of Denmark, the Islamic Republic of France. And I want to take each country because it's what people need to look at. And when you look at each country, starting whether it be 50 years ago, and just show the growth in the building of mosques, the growth in the Islamic community, the growth in crime, the growth, literally, you're going to have graphs that just go like this. They're all identical. They're all identical. So the more Muslims, the less freedom, the more Muslims, the more rapes, the more Muslims, the more crime. It's just a reality. It's just a fact. So, and what Steve Laws, what I find frustrating, what I find, and I've just, as I said, I've just been to Tenerife and I met a Hindu couple there, a lad called Amit. Lovely guy, very successful. His wife runs a pharmacy. They both spoke to me about how worried they were about Islam and about what's happening in their town and their city, and how everything's been great for them growing up. They grew up as minorities in predominantly white cities, but they were loved and they were welcomed in, and they become British. Yeah, I'm talking to this man. Yeah, he's got brown skin, but he's talking to me as a British lad. He's just talking to me as a British lad, a proud British lad. He's like, what's happening to our country? What's happening to our country? Now, the difference is, I've met so many lads like that growing up who I love, yeah, who I have deep friendships with, whether it be through my football scene in Luton, my school friendships, or I'm still all in group chats and friends with. I love them, yeah, and they're great, hard-working people, and they're great, and they're British lads. And you know, if you sat them down and said, "Where are you from?" to the black lads, they say, "I'm English." They wouldn't say I'm Jamaican. They say, "I'm English." I'm English. It's like Ian Wright. Steve Laws would deport Ian Wright.
He said he would.
Steve Laws. He said to deport Ian Wright. You know, for me, it's just like, come on, man. Come on. So I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I think the amount of airtime Steve gets for who he's going to deport, when in reality, the fucking little div ain't going to deport anyway. And I'd love to see him have this conversation somewhere. I'd love to see him have this conversation somewhere outside of his studio, because he talks about being a traitor and how he's brave. It's like, mate, step out and stand for what you stand for. If you really want to deport these people, start doing something about it. I'll tell you what we done when we started the English Defence League. When we started the English Defence League, 25 of us went into East London, Tower Hamlets, and we confronted an IEF, Islamic Forum of Europe. We went to an Islamic Forum of Europe conference with 2,000 Muslims, yeah, and we turned up at 25 of us. The reason why everyone knows the name English Defence League is we took it to them. We took it on the streets and we made sure you knew our name and you knew what we stood for. And not just you knew what we stood for, but the Islamists knew what we stood for. The jihadis knew what we stood for. Every one of them knew what we stood for, because we stood proudly, unashamedly against them. So what I'd say to Steve is, if he wants to do all this, stop just sitting down talking shit and go and do something, mate. And then let's see how much support you do have. That's what I'd say, because I think people need to not get confused with comments on a YouTube video and general public support. If you took your camera out, Dan, or anyone else, and went into city centres and asked who Steve Laws was, I think the very vast majority won't have any clue. Yeah? So there's a core group of ethno-nationalists who want to deport everyone that's not white, who are supporting Steve Laws. But they're ethno-nationalists from across the globe. They would not put their faces, many of them are under fake IDs. And I also just don't think it's not reasonable, it's not legit, and it's not going to solve fuck all. It's going to cause absolute turmoil, mayhem. You're going to break up and rip in half loving families who have done nothing wrong but integrate and assimilate and work hard for this country. So yeah, I just don't support it at all. I do support the mass deportation of all illegal immigrants, of anyone on a jihadi watch list, of any criminal from any country, of all of these things. So I do support that.
Yeah, exactly. Still millions of mass deportations.
Okay, guys, I thought I'd just throw this in. This came up a couple of days ago, and you understand why I play it, so hang on. I'll go back to this, guys. Here we go. They're destroying the British pubs, and it's no accident.
Soon, due to Labour's new policies. Labour's policies of...
Yeah.
If you could give Keir Starmer a message and the Labour government,
Well, if you ever
as it
come,
were.
if you ever come to this pub, he wouldn't be allowed in.
They say that pubs and restaurants are the beating heart of British culture, but they're dying, and they're dying big. When I think about the resistance of the English Defence League, when we started in 2009, we started from the pubs. Everything was organised and run from the pubs. All of those pubs that we use, they're all gone. But we're in Lincoln. So in the town centre, there's only one traditional English pub, not owned by the corporations or by Wetherspoons or groups like that. So we're going to pop in this one now, the New Inn. We're going to see what it's like for this pub and what it would mean if this pub had to close. There's 2,000 predicted to close pretty soon due to Labour's new policies. Labour's policies of, which I believe are intentional. I believe it's intentional to get rid of this beating hub where community come together. When men come into these pubs or communities come into these pubs, what
is that reform? Is that Nigel Farage's party? Is that his party?
What do they talk about? They talk about politics. They talk about what's wrong in the country. They talk against Keir Starmer and his government. So what does the government want? They don't want you talking in pubs. They don't want you talking online. They want to censor you on.
We got a saying at pub, it's got to pass the pub test, which means if the guy at the pub agrees with what you're saying, it's legit.
All social media. But the last thing they want is a community centre that's free, that everyone can go to galvanise, come together and discuss the failures of this country. What would it mean if this pub wasn't here? What would it mean if the pub had to close?
It'd mean a lot. This is the hub of Boston.
Oh, it's a place where everyone comes and meets. It's local, and it's like we feel like it's a big family.
Can I ask you, what, as a pensioner, what this pub means to you?
Everything. Cornerstone for everybody, really. It's a place of gathering, place where everybody just comes and gets together.
Then all the old pubs have got. They've all called out. So I'm going to make it my.
Yeah, Andrew, the reason I asked, Nigel Farage says about Tommy here that he's been done for assaulting women, and that was completely made up. And when I knew he said that, I knew he was no good.
Every year's resolution.
Because Tommy doesn't hit women. I don't even think he's been charged with assault.
And I will start to come to a pub because it gets everyone together.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Look at this for a Wednesday.
Yes, yeah.
What does a pub like this mean to a community like this?
Everything. All the pubs in our town are
Wednesday's the start of the weekend for us. We start drinking Wednesday night and then keep drinking till Saturday night.
dying. They've been dying for weeks and weeks and weeks, months, years. It's because of the government, because of the legislation that they're putting in place. It's all the taxes that they're putting on everybody.
And what difference would it make, say in this town, I know lots of these similar pubs have already shut, what would it make if this was gone, if there weren't none of these pubs?
It'd be a killer, because we're losing them week by week.
So I understand you're the landlord of this pub?
Yep.
How long have you been?
16 and a half years.
It's a long time for one venue. It's a long time for one venue. How have you seen things change over those 16 and a half years? Where we're at now with the...
Andrew, yesterday we had the hottest day on record for Australia in Victoria. Yes, it was really hot. Apparently it went up to 48 somewhere in Australia. That's, God, I don't know what that is.
Recent government policies that, again, are about to come into act, the next budget. How's it been as a landlord now?
Hard. Very hard. It just gets harder and harder.
Obviously, the beer's going up.
I wonder how old that pub is.
Rates is going up. Supermarkets, cheap beer.
The gas, the electric, the bills, so it'll be that high with the rent and rates that these places will no longer be able to afford to run.
If the pub had to close, if they're forced to close for financial situations, what detriment would that be to the local community?
Well, it would split everybody up, wouldn't it? Because all the locals come here, so it'd all be split up, so you couldn't have a talk or a chat or discuss politics or anything.
Do you think that's the purpose of making?
Yeah, of course it is.
Like I say, when they come out, people get an opinion. When they start home,
sat there watching the TVs. Nobody gets involved in anything, do they?
Why do you think the government might be bringing in policies that make it difficult for pubs that would see something like this having to close?
Because it's places where people can come and chat and voice opinions. They want to shut everything down. They don't want you to have a voice of your own and an opinion, and they don't want you socialising.
Isn't it mad that the average person now sees why the government bring these policies in? It's not about money. It's about ending community.
It's control.
You two in here, have you ever stood in this pub and moaned about Keir Starmer?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, all the time. That's why they want to get rid of the pub.
It's useless.
I know, but that's why they want to get rid of the pub. The pub or the restaurant, these sorts of hospitality industries are the beating heart of the British culture. If they disappear, part of our culture disappears, part of our community disappears. What can the government do? What can they do? What should they be doing? Compared to what they've done in the last budget, up in everything.
Napoleon said the British were a nation of shopkeepers, meaning all they've got is their stores, they haven't got much else.
Make it more difficult. What should they be doing?
Well, cut VAT on hospitality, that would help a lot.
Which wouldn't just help financially, it would help the country.
Yeah.
It would help community, it would help spirit, it would help.
The businesses have been probably more profitable, so then obviously there's more money about.
I can only talk from my experience from my estate in Luton, where there were 5 pubs.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. And the pub is the centre of a community. It's the centre of it's what brings people together. Most meetings, most things happen or coming together, discussing politics. Do you think it's intentional? Do you think they're purposely making it difficult?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Because I think they want the pub to die out.
There's a whole industry. Pubs like this, people's first job when they come out of school used to be working behind the bar, glass collecting, things like this.
What used to?
See, look at this. The working class battlers know what's going on, and the elites don't even care.
When we first came here, on a Friday afternoon, this pub would be rammed with workers off the land. They've done the week's work, they're out spending the money. That don't happen no more. It doesn't happen. They ain't got the money, they can't afford to.
We can't put our prices down because obviously the government and the brewers keep putting the prices up. So we can only sell it at a certain.
What about staff? Because I know you've had to put. Is it more costly now for you to have staff?
Yes, me and Dean, we're the two where we work all the time. Well, not so much me, but my husband is here 7 days a week.
Did you used to have other staff? So would that burden have been taken by some more staff that now you can't afford?
Yeah, he would have had at least 1 day off a week.
So their new policies have resulted in people losing their jobs.
They have, yeah.
There's no one in the Labour Party. It's supposed to be.
None of them have had a business.
No. It's supposed to be the working party of the working man. They have not got a clue. They don't understand small business. I had my own small business, which unfortunately, due to ill health, finished 5 years ago. But it was a nightmare then.
They're all career politicians. They've never worked a proper day in their life.
Yeah, and it must be worse now.
If Labour continue and the government policies continue the way they are, what's the future?
Oh, the country's just done, isn't it? It's done. Pubs like this, if we don't come in here and we don't use these pubs, they're finished.
And then the community's finished.
Oh yeah, 100%. Town centre's finished.
And how, if policies continue, I've seen a statistic today, 2,000 pubs are expected to close. If the Labour government...
How are they going to turn this around, guys? I can't see how they can stop this now. It's too late for England.
Continues with these policies over the next 3 years, do you think it could push you out?
Pubs in my opinion, pubs like this will be gone in the next 10 years. There'll be no more pubs like this.
Do you think in your 17 years of trading, this is the most
yeah. Muslims don't like alcohol. Wow, that's why they're doing it.
The worst
This is the worst. Yes, it's the worst. Yeah, COVID. Obviously, COVID.
Did it get worse under Labour?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely worse. Yeah.
If you could give Keir Starmer a message and the Labour government,
well, if you ever come to this pub, he wouldn't be allowed in.
The average person in the pub realises the reason they believe, which is the same as me, the reason they believe the government are hiking these prices is to break these places. They don't want the community spirit. They don't want people coming together. They don't want you talking. And the average person understands that. Now, you heard a message here from the landlord and the landlady. Just cut the rates. Give the British culture back. Give people back their community. Fill the pubs again. If you're at home,
Go to your local pub. Don't go to the supermarket. Go to your local pub. Support the local business. And at the next election, hopefully, a political party stands up.
Bobo, there's a good pitch. He just gave you a great pitch. Join Tommy's gang. They know how to fight. That's true, though.
For this country. So yeah, I just don't support it at all. I do support the mass deportation of all illegal immigrants, of anyone on a jihadi watch list, of any criminal from any country, of all of these things. So I do support that.
Yeah, exactly. It's still millions of mass deportations, which is necessary, absolutely.
Millions, and quite easily encouraged, because where was I just now? Where have I just come back from? Who was I just with the other week? I was in Europe, and they said that they pay them 25,000.
Yeah.
They give the Syrians
that.
They give the Syrians 25,000 to return to Syria, because the longer effect is, I think they end up costing us 400 or 500.
100%. That's part of the Restore Britain plan for mass deportations. I absolutely agree. I'm happy to pay. I'm happy to pay to get these people out. That is one of the ways to start remigration. Now, Nick Lowles is a terrible force in this country. You probably haven't heard of him, but he runs a crooked and corrupt organization called Hope Not Hate. And his latest attack on Tommy Robinson is to claim that he was one of the country's biggest drug dealers. Now, this happened after Tommy posted on X 73,000 Americans dead because of Venezuela's drug imports. Trump warned him time and time again to deal with it. Taking out Maduro is America first. Lowles replied, saying Tommy Robinson pretending to be anti-drugs. For many years, he was one of Luton's main cocaine dealers. And Tommy responded, when you refuse someone, tick. Now, these two, of course, have a long history, a long beef. This is what happened when Tommy actually confronted Nick about some of his dodgy work.
Father to father, do you think it's fair that you put a picture of my children's home online when you know people want to kill them and rape them?
No one's identified that home.
No, you put a picture of my children's home online. You have. Yeah.
And you doorstepped my partner.
No, I did doorstep my partner.
Your people.
No, not my people.
Really?
A woman who was scared in her home doorstep to a partner because you put a picture of her home online and then turned up there looking for me, which you're aware of because she contacted you multiple times. You didn't take her house down. Why did you take it down once your wife told you to take it down? Why did you then delete the picture of her house? Because you know it was wrong, Nick. You paid direct tricks. I got evidence of 7.
Geez, well disciplined, Tommy. If I was like 40 years old, I would put one straight on this guy's chin.
You created. You paid them.
When that story
you blackmailed them.
When that story
you paid them.
Out.
You blackmailed them. I know you've got the media waiting to run your stories. Yeah. I know you have. I know you have. Because you.
Hey, Sooty, welcome to the channel.
Create a lie, and then the media wait there and pump it. Yeah. That's what you do. And I'm exposing you for it in a documentary. No one's going to trust you. You paid Tom Foley. What? Yeah. Are you going to deny paying him? You paid Andrew Rich. You create your sources of information.
That's an even drugs, though, isn't it?
Sweaty mess of a man. Now, when Michelle asked Grok whether Tommy Robinson has ever been charged with supplying drugs, it responded saying no, he has not been charged or convicted of supplying drugs. Claims to the contrary appear to stem from a mix-up with the co-defendant's 2014 conviction in his mortgage fraud case. His record includes assault, fraud, and contempt, but no drug offences. Tommy then replied saying, shall I sue the rat, with the Grift report weighing in saying, do it for the good of all mankind. But Nick Lowles doubled down, writing overnight, for all those people urging Tommy Robinson to sue me for calling him a former drug dealer, I've got some bad news for you. I'm only repeating a claim I made in detail in my book, Tommy, which was published in 2022. He didn't sue then, and he won't sue now. Tommy, your response?
My response is that Nick Lowles has become irrelevant. He's trying to get some relevance. He's trying to bring the focus back to himself and his book and allegations. And I don't really think, I won't give him the steam off my piss, if I'm honest. That I think Nick's back there now. Yeah, Nick used to be here.
We used to be here. He used to be in front of us. He used to be having an effect on us. We've just steamrolled him. See you later, Nick. Fuck off. Goodbye. Okay? Home or hate, you're irrelevant. Yeah? So should I tie myself up in years of court problems? Should I ask the public to fund a court campaign? To be honest, I want to stay out of court, man. And when Nick says stuff like this, for me, it's digging his own grave. It's like, mate, there's lots of labels I've had. There's lots of allegations against me. But one of the biggest cocaine dealers is just ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. So I just think with Nick, do you know what he done? Let me tell you what he done. So I looked in my documentary. Nick went to Luton, and what he done is, because in order to publish stuff, and it's a very well-oiled machine, what Home or Hate do, and they target, they dox, we know that. They make people scared. So if you're working in a certain job or career, they contact your HR company. They are a campaign group who I believe are part of MI5. I believe they are the government. They receive funding from the government. If you look at who chairs on the organisation, it's always members of parliament. They've always got members of parliament as their heads. So they go in and they get people. And I prove this in my documentary. I prove 7 different people, even not stories about me, but about other people. They'll go to someone, say, for example, they approach my ex-colleagues and they offer them money. And they tell them what to say. Yeah? Sit there and say this. So then when that person sits and gives an interview, making false allegations, whether they be sexual, criminal, financial, whatever it is, when that person makes the allegations, Nick Lowles has the army, or used to have the army, used to is the best word, he has the army, the media, sat waiting. And then that media come in and they pump the stories. So whenever Home or Hate used to do an investigation or a study or a think tank document, whatever they used to do, and whoever they used to name, I'm not saying one, serial and run the story. All of them. Not anymore. Not any fucking more. Yeah. So they used to. So when Nick Lowles wrote this book about me called Tommy, Sex, Drugs and Violence, makes me sound like a fucking rock star. I put it in the group chat and said, lads, look, I'm a fucking rock star. I put it in the group chat. But when he wrote it, what he did, he went to Luton, and I was so shocked, and he admits it when I confronted him. There's a Gambino gang, there's a Pakistani gang called the Gambinos. Now, I'm very honest about my upbringing, about my youth. We fought them for years. As young Luton football hooligans, white and black lads, we had clashes with this gang on the streets, in the nightclubs, in the bars, outside of the bars. We would clash with them. It started when I first held my demonstration as a young 20-year-old lad, and I held a demonstration called Ban the Luton Taliban. I was targeted not just by the extremists, but by the drug gangs. Now, the problem for the drug gangs was, at football on a Saturday, there'd be 50 of us, yeah? Or we could galvanise 50 men from who all go to football together on a Saturday and who all used to be not quite fair for a punch-up, yeah? So we had clashes with this Pakistani gang. I wrote a leaflet which ended up on the front page of our local newspapers. I show you this in my Oxford Union presentation. And I wrote a leaflet where I named the Gambino gang. I named them. I named their shops and their businesses that are used to ferry money to pump heroin out of. And in the leaflet that I wrote in 2004, I say to use drugs as a weapon in order to prostitute, to paedophilic prostitute our youth. So in a leaflet in 2004, I told everyone in my town, front page, and they printed the entire leaflet in the front page of the papers, yeah? But I done it barefaced. I done it as me, Stephen Yaxley. I done it as me. So the result was fucking hell, man. The lights were on me, yeah? Because I'd drawn real attention against them. And then we didn't really back down to them. So we had fights. Now what Nick's done is Nick come to Luton. I was so shocked. Nick went and sat down with the Gambinos. Now in 2008, a national newspaper, forget which one, you can Google it. Google Gambino's Luton drugs. Google that, you'll find the national newspaper article. Now, in that national newspaper article, they run a story, the Nationals did, 4 years after my demonstration, saying that the Gambino gang of Luton, 100-strong Pakistani mob who deal heroin and pimp and prostitute girls, that gang funds terrorists and jihadists. So they put the two together. They said the street-level violent gangs are working with the terrorist gangs. Hello! I told you that in 2004, lads. You should have just listened. I've done the job 4 years prior. But because I've done the job 4 years prior, they all turned their shot me. Now, when Nick Lowles come to Luton writing his book, Tommy, who did he go to see as his witnesses? So when he says, I have a source of information, his sources were the Gambinos. So he went and sat down with the Gambinos, a Pakistani gang, and he said to them, tell me everything about Tommy Robinson. Now, obviously, they're going to say everything and anything he wants them to say. He then uses those statements and those witness statements from drug lords, from gangsters. He uses them to then write what he wants in his book. So then if I was to sue him, he then produces in court the source of the information, who has to be hidden and protected because of me and my dangers. And that source of the information is a load of scumbag heroin-dealing Pakistani mob pimping little wrong'uns from Luton who have hated me way before the English Defence League.
Totally. And you know what? This is why it is so important to expose hope, not hate. It's why I've done a lot of work exposing Byline Times as well, because what these hard left organizations do is rely on criminals. They are the ones relying on criminals and very bad people, wrong-uns, to try and back up their false claims. Like, it's really disturbing. One other person I wanted to ask you about, Tommy, though, because this has been going viral lately, is Matt Goodwin, someone who you clashed with in the past, someone who has had a bit of a Damascene conversion on lots of issues, including Islam, now a GB News presenter, now someone who wants to be a Reform UK MP. Do you trust Matt Goodwin, given that he did used to be one of the guys who was attacking people like you?
I think Matt Goodwin's brilliant. He was opposed to us. I think that when I watch him and listen to him, he can really bring people round. He's doing a great job in his commentary, in his work. Let's have it. If he would have come out with any of the things he's saying now, 13 or 15 years ago, whenever we sat down and had that clash, if he would have come out of those things now, he would have lost his job as a university professor. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong or what's brought him to where it's brought him to now. What I'm saying is, if I look at his content from now and what he's saying and what he's doing, it's very positive in awakening the nation to the dangers and the threats. So I'm not going to sit here and what we have to do is remember, lots of people started here and ended up here. Yeah? Lots, in fact, most people. Yeah? My inboxes are full of people who hated me and they're now here. Yeah? Matt's gone through whatever his own journey is. Probably I'd say get him on and ask him what brought him round, what changed his mind, what changed his opinion. But he was obviously heavily on the other side in that one interview that you see, which is when Mo Ansar, and that was 2012. So what's that, 13, 14 years ago? 13, 14 years ago. My thing is, that I get a bit frustrated about is just think, and I did have a bit of a bitter pill, which I just had to swallow, and I've swallowed it because we've been wanting people like Matt Goodwin, we've been wanting the professors, the academics to come out and start awakening and talking. So when they do, I don't think we should be condemning them on any of their past comments. That's what I think. So
no, that's very respectful of you, and I have a lot of respect for that. Actually, I think Matt Goodwin is good as well. Actually, I just sometimes think he's shilling a bit too much for Reform UK because he wants that seat. But I think ideologically, he is very sound. Now, Mike Graham, who has launched his new independent media show this week, has once again come for Tommy Robinson in quite an extraordinary way. In fact, Maya Tusi of Tusi TV, who has been close to Mike in the past, called him out over this, saying Mike Graham's war on Tommy Robinson continues for only egotistical reasons. Now, Tommy is going to respond to this new attack in just one moment, but first, this is what Mike Graham had to say.
Right, last one. Tommy Robinson.
No, Tommy Robinson, match of the decade. Well, I'm sure he'd love me to say something terrible about him because he seems to feed off the fact that, you know, he wants me to apologise to him or debate him or something, you know, and all of his mates are constantly saying, so sorry to Tommy, you know, you called him names. Well, the last time I saw him on social media talking about, he called me a pedo. He's called me all sorts of other nasty names. I don't really mind. It doesn't bother me. I don't like the guy. I think he's a horrible little wanker. and I'm never going to change my view. And
You can support the movement without having to.
well, it's not really a movement. It's the movement appears to exist in order for him to go.
He looks like a salamander. Look at his face. He looks like a salamander.
Live in Spain, drive around in Bentleys with £13,000 worth of cash in his pocket, which he claims he's putting into. He's the guy's a grifter, and I mean, I don't object to what he does, but I object to what he pretends to be. I would say that he doesn't really care. He talks about being a patriot. He doesn't even live here.
Yes, neither do his most loyal supporters.
No, most of them all have moved away and live somewhere else. Don't pay tax. Don't do anything which is in any way relatable to what ordinary people's lives are like in this country. And he sort of flies in every now and again to a rally. And he's got a lot of support, and good luck to him. But he's quite capable of looking after himself, and I'm never going to debate it because what's the point?
No, it just further divide people, isn't it?
But I wouldn't even give him the honour of becoming a flank of the decade, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's a little wild card.
And Mike also responded to Maya Tusi saying, "Hey, Maya, you used to call me the godfather of free speech. You know I gave you your start. Tommy is a complete charlatan, and you know it." So he's doubling down, even though he has gone independent. Tommy, are you surprised?
I think we need to remember what this is about. What caused this? A young child close to me. Okay, there's legalities around what I can and can't say around this.
I appreciate that.
Young child close to me was 8 years old. She was sexually assaulted. A man was charged for that sexual assault, and Mike Graham used that opportunity and weaponised that opportunity to attack me at that time, say that I wanted it to happen somehow. I wanted somehow a very young 8-year-old child close to me to be sexually assaulted, then I was projecting it and using it. That's what he done. Now remember that when this girl was sexually assaulted at a holiday park in the UK, the man wasn't arrested. I was arrested for detaining him. Yeah? So I was arrested. The man's phone wasn't taken. Nothing was searched. Only when the police watched CCTV the next day and saw the young child running and legging it, crying from the swimming pool, only then did they then arrest him. Bit late then, because the man was not with any women, not with any children. He was with 2 other men at a children's holiday park in a swimming pool. Yeah, what the fuck was he doing there anyway? But they lost the opportunity to detain the phones, to seize the phones, to see what they were up to. Whether they're taking pictures of kids, whether they're just walking around fondling kids in the swimming pool, whatever that fucking woman was doing, that's what he was doing in that swimming pool. And he targeted a very young girl close to me. Now, Mike Graham weaponised that. And
our cops aren't that bad here. We wouldn't let that happen. Our coppers wouldn't let grown men in pools, kiddie pools. They'd arrest them.
And mocked it. So I'm sitting there watching that scumbag mock the sexual assault of an 8-year-old child that I love, yeah, that I know. So I watched that. So let's remember what this is about, because that's what's fucking about, yeah. And if Mike Graham at the time, how old was Mike Graham? Because really, what I should have done when a man does that as a man to man, I should have ironed him out, because what he's saying about that child, yeah. So that's what he done, yeah. He rubbished sexual assault claims from an 8-year-old fucking child. That's what he done. And I'm still enraged about it now, thinking about it. I think, look at him sitting there making it, if he wants to sit and argue with me. No, you Roman. You stood on the side of a fucking nonce that sexually assaulted a child. That's what you done. And you listen to the video of the little 8-year-old girl talking about what happened to her, and then you mocked it. That's what he done. That's what he done. So this isn't about plank of the week, plank of the decade. He's right, he's wrong. He stood on the side of a nonce. That's what he done. And he done that to score political points.
Hit him with a bit of 4x2.
Against me.
Put the plank across his head.
And he didn't give a shit about that little child. And that's what done my head in. So when it comes down to it, at the time everyone condemned him for what he said. He doesn't want to talk about what he said. That's what he said. Forget about your war, whatever you think about me. This isn't about, and I don't think he's got to apologise to me. Yeah, I think he should apologise about the child that he mocked. So an 8-year-old girl was sexually assaulted, yeah, and he mocked it. He mocked it. He used his platform to fucking mock it. Excuse my French again, man. I'm sorry, but him, and then he sits there and wants to pretend this is all about, no, you're wrong. No, if your daughter would, if someone close to you, if something happened to someone close to you, and I started making videos laughing and mocking, you'd have an opinion on it. So it's nothing to do with.
Hello, Free Alan, just saw you. Welcome to the channel.
In fact, I actually, up until that point, and still think Mike Graham's a good, and it's good that he's come out of the mainstream. It's good he's set up his own YouTube. It's good he's going to war with the fucking media. It's all good. It's all good. But my problem with him is that nothing.
Yes, and when he appeared on Outspoken, because look, I think Mike is great in so many ways, but when he did his first interview on Outspoken, I made it clear that we differed, obviously, when it came to you, suggested that maybe I host a debate, played your video to give him an opportunity to apologise, but clearly he is doubling down.
He doesn't want to talk about it. He don't want to talk about what this is about. This has got nothing to do with saying he's shit or me mocking him or anything like that. It's to do with him standing on the side of a nonce who sexually assaulted a child, a man that was prosecuted and charged by the police afterwards, and to do with him listening to a little child give her account on camera and then mocking her. That's what it's to do with, and nothing else. That's what it's to do with.
He did make some pretty major claims, though, in that new interview, Tommy, which I do think you should have an opportunity to respond to. I mean, he's described you as a grifter, described you as a charlatan, spoke about your arrest and seemed to suggest that because you were traveling with cash, you were in some way doing something wrong. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that you have been debanked in the United Kingdom.
It's not rocket science. It was the 27th of July was our demonstration. Yeah, our mass demonstration where we had a mass bucket campaign to raise money, donations, come in, support us, blah blah blah. £13,000. It's very because there's all these rumours that 48 grand was raised. You can see what was raised because the police. I was in the car, and then when I sat down with the police, and the other thing is he's driving this car. It was the invoice, the ownership of everything from that car because I was transporting the car. I got paid to deliver the car. Yeah, I was delivering the car for a friend. It wasn't my car. It's very evident it wasn't my car. It was a £49,000 car that wasn't mine. Yes, I was driving it. And to Mike Graham, Mike, no one's ever smashed your house up, have they? Has anyone ever threatened to kill your family? What about terrorists? Is there any terrorists in jail serving 30 years because they were going to blow you up and kill you for the work you do? Probably not, Mike. So you can probably quite comfortably with your fat, overweight mess sit in your house in the UK, wherever it happens to be. But some of us need safety. Some of us need sanity. When Mike walks down the streets, I'm sure people don't want to fight him, confront him, or anything like that. I'm sure he doesn't get too much bother being Mike Graham. Yeah, being Mike Graham. And Mike's been late to the show. Let's remember that. Remember, 13 years ago, a bit like Matt Goodwin, 13 years ago, it was pretty difficult to have this fight. In fact, it was very difficult. As I said, there's 6 Muslims serving 30 years who got caught with guns and bombs on the way to kill us. Al-Shabaab named me in a terrorist video to be killed. I've had the police knock on my door 12 times with Osman warnings to sit me and my family down, including my wife, to tell her that she's going to get attacked with acid. So whilst Mike makes sure he doesn't live in the UK, I don't live anywhere. That's the reality. I don't actually live anywhere. I live out of a suitcase. I've just come back again. I'll be somewhere else tomorrow. I'll be in another house the next day. That's how I have to live. But I have to live that way because I've took a stance and stood by it, Mike. Yeah? So I'm sure if Mike got one terrorist threat, if his wife got a knock on the door and said she was going to get attacked with acid unless he shuts his mouth, I'm pretty certain that fat mess would shut his mouth. Yeah? So don't condemn me for trying to survive and fight this fight. Yeah? The reality is I've got the police breathing down I've got the courts breathing down the door for £100. So when he says grifting, I haven't got fucking anything. I haven't got anything, you mug. Nothing. I don't have a single possession.
Because that was something Steve Laws also claimed in his interview with Andrew Gold. He suggested that you were some type of secret millionaire, Tommy.
In 2021, I've had my bankruptcy investigation where I was declared bankrupt. When you declare bankrupt, they investigate every penny everywhere, which is what they did. They went back 12 months. They went back 6 years. But for 12 months, you were locked in a bankruptcy. And if I'm honest, Daniel, you'll probably see another bankruptcy investigation coming soon. Because I don't have £187,000.
Because of the fact that the government are coming after you,
yeah, but
even though you were jailed.
You know where this comes from, Dan? This comes from Hope Hay. It's the whole millionaire. They just repeat it. And then wankers like Mike Graham or wankers like Steve Laws pick it up and then just use it with no evidence. It's like they say, oh, he's got mass funding from Israel. Where is it? Show us. Show us one shred of evidence other than she said. Show us one single bit of evidence. Bearing in mind that mug you're looking at now on that camera spent £200,000 on a private investigation. So if you Google Hope Not Hate Stop Tommy Robinson bankruptcy. So when I was declared bankrupt, 2 months before I was cleared of bankruptcy, he and his group took over and privately funded £200,000 to investigate the hidden millions. That's fine.
Hey Kev, welcome to the channel.
And even your son has now been debanked, Tommy.
So again, my grand doesn't have to take his children to other countries to set up bank accounts. My grand doesn't have to, but he'll condemn anyone else that does. So I even sit now and think, where even looking at my kids, thinking, what sort of life are they going to have here? What sort of life are they going to have here? Work? They're going to get jobs? They're going to be accepted? They're going to be safe? Mike doesn't have to think any of this. That's the reality. So Mike can condemn me all he wants. He's picking the wrong fight. I don't want to be sitting here fighting with Mike Graham. I don't want to be sitting here fighting with Steve Lawrence either. I don't want to be sitting here fighting with anything. I want to be tackling, highlighting.
Totally. No, and it's such a shame. It is such a shame because
Andrew, we rioted against Islam, the Cronulla riots, 2006. The Muslims are showing up at the beach and bullying the lifeguards and ganging up on them. So they organised, sorted out, and then that ended up turning the Cronulla riots. And it was Islam versus working class men. It was a good fight.
we don't need this division. We do not need this division. And that's where I have a lot of respect for Tommy being magnanimous. Even today, in terms of Mike Graham saying that he's happy that he's launched this YouTube show, and certainly in terms of Matt Goodwin, who used to be one of his critics. Now, this one is extraordinary. This one is extraordinary. Did you see this? Tommy Robinson, let me show you the video. Lily Phillips. You know Lily Phillips, right? You've got to know Lily Phillips. Here she is being baptized last week. Lots of people thought that this video might be AI, might not be real, may have been some sort of new pornography film, but no, in a statement which has just been provided to Newsweek, Lily Phillips said, "I'm really looking forward to strengthening and growing my relationship with God and opening up conversations about how OnlyFans girls are multifaceted. I hate that we are pigeonholed as 2D sex dolls. It can be really dehumanizing. There might be Christians who disagree with my lifestyle, but I just want to rebuild my relationship with God, and I think we should all be welcoming conversations and opportunities for people to explore religion in a way that's right for them." And she went further in a new interview. Watch.
No, not all.
Do you think there's a God?
No.
No, okay. Do you believe that there's a heaven after we die?
No, not all.
Do you think there's a God?
No.
No, okay.
I do believe in a higher power, but not God.
Alright, so like a creator for the universe?
No. I believe it's evolution.
I hate that. I don't believe in God. I believe in a higher power. That's a word salad. That sounds like it comes from Camilla's breath.
An asteroid came into the Earth, and that's how it created the Big Bang. That's
Okay,
what I believe in.
those
It's
asteroids
scientifically proven.
Like,
so.
where do those asteroids come from? They would have to come from somewhere, right?
Well, they come from space, babe.
Alright, now what do you think of Jesus?
Jesus, I mean, you know what? I leave everyone to believe what they believe in, and I respect that.
That's fine.
But it's not something I personally believe in.
Okay, do you think he was real then?
No.
Really? Not even a real historical figure?
No. I don't think anything could save me.
Really?
No.
Is it because you think you're too bad? Is that why or no?
No, not at all. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anything I do is controversial or bad.
So since that interview, Tommy, she's had a total U-turn. But do you think this is a publicity stunt? And how do you feel we should be dealing with Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue in our space, in our conservative media world?
Depends who baptized her.
Where a lot of people, including like your close mate, great guy Liam Tufts, and people like Julia Hartley-Brewer and Andrew Gold have all given big platforms to these porn stars. What's your take?
Lily Phillips is now been baptized, wanting to live a Christian life, realizing she needs a positive impact on life. I think we should encourage it. I think that she is. If she sees the error of her ways, if she's now leaving that life behind and wanting to turn over a new leaf and live a Christian life, then I think that should be celebrated. I don't think we should be celebrating Bonnie Blue or the life she lived before that. But I think that if someone sees that they've been on the wrong path in life, I want to get baptised. I need to get baptised. I should have got baptised when I was in Israel and Jordan River. That's what I should have done. So I think that anyone wanting a fresh start in life and wants to wash away their sins as such, I think that should be encouraged. I don't think whatever Lily Phillips has done, I didn't know who she was, just Googled it now. So I had no idea who she was, even watching that interview. I just Googled it now, so she was a porn star. Like she's, I don't know what age she's at. Oh, she's only 24 years old.
But she still is a porn star. I mean, this is what's interesting to me. Is it possible to have a life where you're selling yourself on OnlyFans and being Christian? Are those two things compatible?
Nah, not at all.
I think so. I thought I just saw there she's leaving her career behind.
Well, it's interesting. Well, since her baptism, she's still apparently posting all of this content. She's still running the OnlyFans. So that's what's really complicated. But it is part
Well, she's not fully committed. She's lukewarm.
of a wider point, Tommy. And you've seen this. And actually, I've discussed this with Karen Dwyer and Reverend Canon Father Phil Harris and Ricky Doolin, Father Calvin Robinson, a whole load of religious figures who are highly supportive of you, Tommy, who are being attacked now by the mainstream media for encouraging your supporters to turn to Christianity. I mean, this has now been a campaign run by Sly News and the British Bashing Corporation. You would think in a Christian country, people turning to Christianity, especially young people, especially your young supporters, would be a positive thing. But it's something the mainstream media are trying to turn into something negative.
I just had a message from Ricky Doolin.
Great guy.
This morning. Yeah, brilliant. I just saying thank you for opening the gates, Tom. There was a video of him baptising more people. And he basically said the gates at the moment. There are so many people now contacting him to be baptised. How anyone can throw any sort of negative spin on that, where people want to change their life. And I said I realised in prison, when I was reading the Bible, reading about Christianity, that if you want to live a positive and healthy, clean, decent life, it's living a Christian life. And that's something I've struggled with myself. And I think that how anyone can put a negative spin on that. And the thing is, the sad thing for the church is they're going to be left behind. In fact, you can hear my rant here. Do you want to hear my rant?
Always.
UTK Christmas. Because I just got my head back on me. My working head's come back on, yeah? And it's come back on from just having the time to be away from this and put this away. Have a week just walking, hiking through mountains, going in the gym every day, sitting down calmly. And there you go. Look, thank you, Tommy, for connecting us with all these people. Now they're getting into with the Lord Jesus. God has used you, brother. Keep firing. And then that's the latest video of him. And that was that. So Ricky sent me that this morning. How anyone can put any sort of positive, negative light? Where's my little hand? I think this is probably it. Is this it?
Can we then, the Christmas team are in here, can we put in the application for May 16th?
No, that's not it. Well, somewhere I went in and said, lads, right now, because we always are a bit last minute, we need to start planning next year's Christmas event.
Yes.
Okay? That Christmas celebration that we had, with the gospel band, with the singing, with Sky especially, the girl that sang, I felt something. And again, in this week...
And Andrew, the globalists are fighting each other as well. Trump's fighting with Putin. Putin's fighting with... Not fighting with China, but you get what I mean.
My last week, I was looking... I always go mad on my physical fitness. Yeah? I think that unless you have physical...
Kev, we're good at auto cue. We know if you got what you're saying.
Emotional, spiritual. It's like there's four. It's like if you have the keypad, you know say like a padlock with a 4-pin code. If you don't get all 4 of them, if you don't get all of the parts, so I go mad on my fitness to try and make myself feel right and feel better. So I go mad and I get up and I start training and I think, yeah, this is it. But if I don't also counteract the spirituality, which is church, which is Christianity, my emotions, understanding my emotions. So I try and address all those things, and it's never going to be right unless I address all of them. So I think that spirituality and Christianity and church and higher power, like that girl originally said, was a higher power. I think that people have been pushed away from Christianity, made to feel that it's sort of mocked, made to feel they should be ashamed if they said they're a Christian. And I think all that's going to turn. People are going to, and seeing silly Lily Phillips now getting baptized, for me, that's positive. That's positive. If she changes her life, good luck to her. She's only a young girl. Who knows what put her in the path? We all have lived different lives. Who knows what brought her to where it brought her to with morals and values. I've been immoral. I've been throughout my life. So I'm not one to fucking sit and preach. But I would like saving like everyone else. And I think that Christianity and being baptized, getting to church, and in fact, it's something I'm going to try and do this Sunday for the first time. And I promised Ricky so many times, I messaged him saying I'm going to come to church, and I don't end up going. But I think
imagine if he become Christian. Wow.
Can only be positive.
He'd influence so many British.
And I think that many people should start remembering who we are and where we come from, and that is a Christian culture and Christian identity. And we can't moan about this being a Christian country unless we actually...
No, exactly. Now, look, finally, Tommy, the big news, of course, was that announcement May 16th. I know you hope Elon Musk might attend UTK in person, perhaps, but what else are you expecting? Can it be bigger? I mean, can it be bigger? It was so huge.
Well, we're sat down with the team this week. Again, after been firing in on all cylinders, so on the planning for this event. But I think we need 13 screens. Last time I think we need 13. I think we need to section off, which we've got so much to go. So what we're doing now, by the 19th, 20th of this month, we're working on a vision. Not just a 12-month vision. So people say, what does a protest do? Well, we're going to show you what it does, because this protest is not just a protest. The protests and the cultural side of the movement are part of a cultural awakening in Great Britain. It's part of finding the 20 million that didn't vote, and it's about directing them and politicising them, which is what a cultural movement should be doing, identity, bringing in identity. So, but we want to mix the cultural movement with the media movement, which I don't think is just a British issue. It's far bigger than that. So we've been speaking with names in different countries, saying, listen, we want to work a 4-year plan and a 4-year vision for our movement. So that, yes, we have the United Kingdom, but then we also have an umbrella new media that works independently as citizens, but brings see, I look at a lot of these citizen journalists, they're outside hotels, they're going to need help. Not just need help, training, support and help. And I think some of them are doing fabulous, incredible work. And I don't want to take away their work, or they can still build their own channels, but I'd like to see something that unites and brings them all together, where we have an army of citizen journalists. And those army of citizen journalists are working alongside a cultural street movement in each country across Europe that's working together, that then are supporting in the work and content they do the new populist parties which are going to rise to power, whether it be supporting them with their political work or their investigations that they're doing, or investigations into the opposition parties. So there's lots to do. We've got so many ideas on. I've got so many documentaries I want to make. We just do not have the resources or the team or the size of the team to build this. So we're working on a 4-year vision, and then we're going to present that 4-year vision to lots of people. You want to say, listen, you want to see what we've done in the last 24 months? Built a mass movement. We've changed the debate, changed the culture of the UK. Watch what we do in 4 years. So we've got lots going on, man. Lots going on, but it's not a big enough team, Dan. Not a big enough team.
No, I know. Well, look, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And you know, you have my full support here on Outspoken, of course.
Will you be doing a show there again, Dan?
Of course, we will be covering it live. It was massive, the last broadcast. And as you know, I think it's so important that we prove to the mainstream media that this is an event that can be covered independently and deserves to be. It was still really disturbing to me that GB News, for example, didn't run 1 second of your interview with Elon Musk. So I hope next time they're braver. But the great thing is people don't need mainstream media. And why it was so important, I think, for me to cover independently United Kingdom is that, look, if there was trouble, of course, I'm a journalist. I would cover it. I would be honest about it. But there simply wasn't. And so for the mainstream media to focus on a tiny, small number of people outside of the event just shows you that they were not prepared to cover it honestly.
No, I've just been, as I said, I've just been away for 5-6 days. And everywhere I walked, all everyone spoke to me about was that they were there. Realising that everywhere I walked, we were there, we're coming next time. So what we need to do, with your help, Dan, is get May 16th, the day X. So people say, why that long away? Why that long away? I don't know if people realise the organisation that has to go into it. And also, if you want to really make a big, fucking bold statement, you're giving everyone enough time to make their plans to be there. I'm hearing of other groups and people that are going to be camping out and staying there on that date. We're going to be doing our event, United the Kingdom, but if ever there was a date for a revolution in Great Britain, it's going to be May 16th.
Amazing. Well, look, Tommy Robinson, our greatest Britain in 2025. Thank you so much for being here for your first major interview of the new year. And of course, May the 16th, Unite the Kingdom. And we will be covering it closely in the run-up. Thank you so much, Tommy. Happy New Year to you and your family. Now, because
Okay, that was very interesting. I got one of him interviewing Elon Musk.
Okay, congratulations. Hello. Hello. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations, Tony, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain...
It's the first time I let Tommy back on the social network with X. If I played Tommy like 12 months ago, I'd get a community strike. But since Trump got in and Musk was doing his thing, the tide's turned the other way.
Public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And you may notice this T-shirt that I'm wearing. It's great British author George Orwell. What would Orwell think? I think that's generally a good way to look at these things. He would want freedom of speech. He would want the people to know what's real. He want the people to fight against government oppression and fight for the truth and fight for the future of Britain.
Hey, Di, good to see you. Welcome back.
We are incredibly grateful for your time. We know what a busy man you are. Why is it important for you to be here today speaking at this Unite the Kingdom event?
I'll tell you what, that's a great question. Tommy's a smart guy.
I'm of primarily British heritage, British ancestry. I want Britain to be greater than it ever has been. I want Britain to remain Britain. I think there's something beautiful about being British. And what I see happening is a destruction of Britain. Initially a slow erosion, but a rapidly increasing erosion of Britain with massive uncontrolled migration, a failure by the government to protect
all the original illegal immigrants' children. They're of age now. That's why it's ramping up heaps.
Innocent people, including children, who are getting gang raped. It's unreal. The government has failed in its duty to protect its citizens, which is a fundamental duty of government. This has got to stop. There needs to be massive government reform in Britain. And the people need to be in charge, not some bureaucracy that doesn't care.
Elon, I believe that's what we've started today. Power by the people, sending a message worldwide. Elon.
Andrew, Elon Musk's nanny as a child, she spoke to someone as an adult and she said something about Elon Musk, and this is what she said. She said she saw Elon do something and it made her wonder, is he going to be the Antichrist? So the nanny went up to the mother and said what she saw, and is he going to be the Antichrist? And the mother said no, but he will bring in the mark of the beast. So that's what's going on with Musk.
You spend an incredible lot of money on X. Why is free speech
You saw that interview with the mother.
so important to you?
Well, I believe you can't get to the truth of things without freedom of speech, without active debate. There's so many on the left that want to just crush debate and put people in prison just for talking, as you were, just for speaking their mind. The essence of democracy is it should be a government for the people, by the people. In fact, this is a government against the people and not for the people. This is why.
Geez, that's heavy to say. Think about it.
Everyone is gathered here today is something's got to be done. This is unacceptable. The government needs to be responsible to the people of Britain. It needs to protect Britain. It needs to protect the weak, those who cannot protect themselves, especially the children. And when I read about some of the horrific stories and how the government did nothing and tried to hide it, they try to hide these horrific crimes. And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Cook getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder and celebrating murder.
I'd agree with that, Elon. Listen to what you just said then.
There's on the left, with our friend Charlie Cook getting murdered in cold blood this week, and people on the left celebrating it openly. The left is the party of murder.
The left is the party of murder. Don't forget Hillary's death list. He's right.
And celebrating murder. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
Elon, to so many of the British public who are scared to exercise their free speech. They're worried about being imprisoned, they're worried about being attacked, even to share their speech on your platform of X. What message would you give to them?
And the message is really, my message is to the reasonable center. The common sense. So my appeal is to British common sense, which is to look carefully around you and say, if this continues, what world will you be living in? This is a message to the reasonable center, the people who ordinarily wouldn't get involved in politics, who just want to live their lives. They don't want they're quiet. They just go about their business. My message is to them: if this continues, that violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Great Britain. Come on. We've inspired the nation. Elon, you've spoken a lot about woke culture, the woke mind virus, and how it damages innovation and freedom of thought. We know that DEI often sees people getting jobs when they definitely don't deserve them. Do you think this culture is holding back progress in the West? And what do you think needs to happen to reverse it?
Yeah, I'm going to sort of common sense and fairness. I want to emphasize just common sense and fairness, which is that we should make our decisions based on merit, on how, if somebody is talented and hardworking,
then that should be the only means of advancement. There should not be discrimination on the basis of sex or religion or any race or anything else. And what a lot of the woke stuff is, it's actually super racist, it's super sexist, and it's often it's anti-religion, but only anti-Christian. Like, why only anti-Christian? That's unfair. So this is why, again, my message is to the reasonable middle. Do you not want a world where there is fairness and common sense, and you advance as a function of how hard you work and your talent and your integrity? That should be all that matters. And the woke blind virus that I call it is against all of that. It's wrong.
You know, we hear so much about censorship being pushed by governments and global corporations and organisations. A lot of people don't understand why we're allowing mass uncontrolled immigration into all Western nations. Do you believe that there are powerful forces outside of elected officials, someone controlling governments, that are trying to control the flow of information, and how do we resist that pressure?
Yeah, I think when you look at the behavior of organizations or people, you have to say, what is the incentive for these organizations? And frankly, there's a massive incentive on the left to import voters. So if they can't convince their nation to vote for them, they're going to import people from other nations to vote for them. This is a massive factor. And frankly, it's a strategy that will succeed if it is not stopped. And it is, thus far, it is succeeding. And you see strong movements to allow people who are not from Britain to vote in Britain, to allow people who are not from France or elsewhere to vote in those countries. And thus depriving the citizens of their democratic power. It's really a voter importation thing. And if they're allowed to succeed, if this is allowed to continue, they will succeed in importing voters, swaying the elections, and taking your vote away from you. That is 100% what is happening.
Do you know what's great? The BBC and the mass media cannot control this, can they? I love it.
I mean, the BBC is complicit in the destruction of Britain.
And we pay for it, Elon. We pay for it.
Yes.
We're forced to pay for it. Do you know
It's
it's
insane.
if we don't pay for it?
You're forced to pay for your own destruction. It's insane. It's unfair. It is wrong.
Elon, a lot of ordinary people that are here today, they feel ignored, they feel censored, or they're labelled just for speaking up about their legitimate fears and concerns in their communities. Do you believe technology like X or even AI can finally give power back to those people? Or do you think it will make censorship worse or even automate it?
Flight Centre's UK and Europe sale is on. Hurry, ends 1 March. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Start your next-gen parenting journey with Triple P today.
With Rabobank, earn competitive returns while supporting Australian farmers. It's a perfect circle. Your savings nourish farms, farms nourish you.
With Whoop, gain insights into how you train.
I mean, that's a complicated question. It really depends on what government is in charge. The government can obviously use whatever powers are available to suppress the people. And so I really think there's got to be a change of government in Britain. And you can't, we don't have another 4 years or whatever the next election is. It's too long. Something's got to be done. There's got to be a dissolution of parliament and a new vote held. And really what matters is rallying the people of Britain, really getting the people of Britain to get the message out there, talk to your friends and family, and build a massive power base among the people. And like I said, you really got to appeal to the sort of average, the normal people that just want to go about their business. that they're sort of in a village somewhere, they're working, they just want to mind their own business. But you've got to point out to them that if we don't take action, they won't be able to mind their own business because other people are going to come and maraud them. There's genuine risk of rape and murder and the destruction of the country and dissolution of the entire way of life.
Guys, I can't see how UK can turn this around. I think it's too late for that. There's way too many Muslims in your country and they're all hostile and they want to take over.
And so, yes, in the normal course of business, if things were, if you weren't under a massive attack, then people should go about their business and just live their lives. But unfortunately, if the fight comes to you, you don't have a choice. You have to fight. So you have to rally all of the people of Britain to fight for the future.
Let me ask
And if
people
this
of Britain,
doesn't happen, there won't be a future.
are you ready to fight for your future, Britain?
Fight for your future. Do it. Go.
Will we be gagged any longer, Britain?
But you know what I mean, Tommy. You know what I mean. I talk to my friends in Britain, and they're like, yes, they live in a village here or there, or a town or city here or there, and they're like, well, it doesn't seem like it's really that much of a problem. I'm like, well, if you want to know what's going to happen,
That proves you can be a billionaire and still get a bad haircut. That's a shocking haircut, Elon.
to your town or village, just visit London, and you'll see that it's filled with crime. It often doesn't feel like Britain at all, and it's only a matter of time before that is what happens to your town or village. It starts in London, but it will spread to every town and village in the country, and no one will have any peace.
We're running out of time, people. We're running out of time. Elon, you built rockets, you built cars, you built satellites, you built AI. Things most of us couldn't dream of. It's fair to say you're a visionary. When you look at leaders in Europe and the UK today, do you think they share the same talent for future vision, or do you feel like they'll be left behind and out of touch?
Well, I think we've got to have a freer country, a freer. Europe in general has to be freer. It's stifled by bureaucracy. I think it's good that Britain left the EU because there's just too much bureaucracy in the EU. But frankly, instead of really going down,
They haven't really left yet either, Brexit.
path of personal freedom and deregulation and getting rid of these stifling regulations, unfortunately, the British government has pretty much stayed on par with the EU, if not in some ways made the stifling regulation worse. If you have excess government regulation and oppression, you stifle the freedom of people to try new and great ideas. And Britain used to be a country that did amazing things, some of the boldest things on the entire planet. And that is possible in the future. But it can't be done if you've got this massive oppressive bureaucracy and a government that doesn't care about its people. And that has to change. There has to be profound change. And there's not much time left.
Elon, you've said before that civilization is fragile. We agree.
Yes.
It's precious. When you look at the West right now, every country in the West, with its wars, its divisions, its censorship, and its declining trust in institutions, none of us trust them at all. None of the public trust them.
For good reason.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic about where we are heading?
I think if the people of Britain take charge and actually ensure that there's a government that represents their interests and not a government that represents foreign interests, then I think Britain has a great future.
And who's like that, Elon? There's no one in their politics like that. Tommy's the closest to that.
And I think we
Could Tommy pull off being Prime Minister? I don't think so.
can be optimistic. I think there's amazing things that are possible. If the technology that is coming is used in the right
Wow.
way. We can have an incredibly exciting
Wow, he's nearly a trillionaire guy.
future, one which is, sort of Star Trek made real. It's sort of like the exciting utopian sci-fi where we have spaceships and we've got robots and we've got incredible technologies that are really exciting.
Guy, did you pick that up? Star Trek, the science tech. They've already got that stuff.
But we need to preserve civilization long enough for that to happen, and we need to go onward and upward. And we need to fight for such a future. Such a future is not inevitable. We have to fight for such a future.
I think that many British people had lost hope, but after today's scene, have you got hope again, Britain? Britain is awake. Thanks to you, Elon. Thanks to your input. Can we just ask?
Well, thanks to you, Tommy.
Thank you, brother. Can we ask what do you see as the future of the UK and Europe in your vision? Where are we heading? What's the future like?
Big fight.
Well, I think there needs to be a future where the people take charge, where there's deregulation, a massive reduction in bureaucracy, and generally a new hope, where people look forward, wake up in the morning, look forward to the future. They're excited about what's going to happen next. But we must have revolutionary government change for that to occur. And this is not ordinary course of business sort of stuff. This really requires everyone to sort of marshal the people, so to take charge, reform the government, and make sure that you actually have a government that is for the people, by the people. And that's essential. And that's not, and so we're really at a fork in the road here. We're at a fork in the road to darkness or greatness. And that will be decided only in a matter of years. And we must take the path to greatness. And that's the path that's exciting and inspiring and will make life worth living.
Elon, you've done more than anyone to shine a torch on the crimes committed against the generation of our daughters. On behalf of everyone and on behalf of all of us in Great Britain, you know what, we wouldn't even be in the fight. Not only are we in the fight right now, but we're on the advance. Thanks to free speech being fought for us by Elon Musk. We're very grateful, sir.
You're most welcome. Thank you. All right.
Right now, Peugeot has amazing drive-away offers across selected models in the 2008, 3008 and 5008 hybrid SUV range. Book a test drive today. Offers end March 31st. Are you suffering from fart? Password.
Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is internal revolution, Iran, fraud, and Pentecost rapture of the bride. I'm talking about my new book. Okay, so yes, the money is at the Pitters, and I assume that the book is now heading our way. So we're all very excited about it. This is the 5th book that I've written on Bible prophecy. It may be the one that outsells them all, because this is, the biggest question in the whole.
Diane, has Elon Musk got Asperger's? Because that makes sense to me.
Christian world is, when is the rapture? Okay, is it pre, is it mid, is it post, is it pre-wrath? What is it, when is it? Well, this book answers it in a way to where, duh, how come I didn't see this before? Now, you can pre-order at prophecyclub.com. And it comes in a shrink wrap set of 10 of them. One's 20, but don't do that. You want to get a shrink wrap set of 10, gives you 9 more to give away. Shrink wrap set of 10 is $35. But if you don't have the secret door, you should get this offer, and that is the secret door, which is 5 shrink wrap sets of that. Total of 15 books and only 70, and that's already a good price, for $50. $20 at prophecyclub.com. Also, I don't have to tell you something big happening in our financial world for lots and lots of reasons, which we're not covering today. But I do plan a whole interview talking about this, probably the next program. So, prophecyclubgold.com or 800-200-GOLD, especially if you've got an IRA or 401k. And also, if you have or are thinking about getting a crypto, then it's prophecyclubcrypto.com. All right, so our first topic today is internal revolution. Now, I have talked about this many, many, many times.
I don't know what's wrong with the camera.
Well, I mean, our first priority is always going to be getting people washed in the blood of Jesus. But past that, this is the primary message, and that is to warn people that America is going to fall. It's in 6 different chapters of the Bible. It's in Revelation 18, Jeremiah 50, 51, Isaiah 13, 21, and 47. And I've made programs on that too. All right, so let me cover this because I'm going to try to show you something that perhaps you haven't seen today. So this was August 3rd, 1984. Demetria had arrived in America. Having sat on the electric chair twice, the angel came to him and said, "Get beside me." Took and showed him all of California, Las Vegas, and New York, and Florida. And he said, "You see what I'm showing you? This is Sodom and Gomorrah. In one day, it will burn." How will it burn? America is so powerful. Now, here's the point. He said, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Now, for many, many years, I used to think an internal revolution was just rioting and burning in the streets. That's not an internal revolution. What we're seeing in Minnesota right now is not an internal revolution, but it is walking in that direction. I might say running in that direction, because an internal revolution is where the people of that nation pick up arms, shed blood in a violent overthrow of the government, not by voting, but by bullets. That's an internal revolution. Now, ask yourself this. 20 years ago, could you have seen an internal revolution in America? Probably not. 10 years, probably not. But today, I'm going to show you some things. This thing in Minnesota could be the start. It could very well heat up. Okay, anyway. So the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. So isn't that calling the people that are going against us and against our police and trying to destroy our Christian nation? Isn't that really calling them communists? Yes, it is. Now, again, 10 years ago, who'd have thought we'd have had a communist mayor in the largest populated city in America, New York City? But today, we have a communist, in my opinion. So America is started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. We already see that. We already see that. I'm going to show you some things.
You're going to have to move because you're getting the
government will be busy
out of
with
whack.
internal problems. Well, right now, Trump and the government is already getting pretty busy with them. We're about to cover that too. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 hour. Then God
Hey,
will raise up
Talia,
China,
good to
Japan,
see you.
and many of the nations, they'll go against the Russians. They'll defeat the Russians. They'll back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they sign a peace treaty, but they make the Russians their leader. Then with the Russians as the leader, all the nations go down to attack little Israel. They can't counter the help of the Jews in America, so they cry for the Messiah. Jesus returns in the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. That, in my opinion, is going to happen in our lifetimes. If we live our 70 or 70 years old, most of us will see that. All right, so first article to back up what I'm talking about. Minnesotans strike to protest ICE surge in state. No work, no school, no shopping. Okay, so this is not just Minneapolis. This is the whole state, one of the 50 states in America, and watch what they say. No work, no school, no shopping. Blackout Day of protest was kicked off by community leaders. See, this is not a bunch of crazy, wacko, weirdo, knuckleheads, outcasts. This is the community leaders, and it gets worse. Look at the next words. Faith leaders, labor unions. This is not just your criminals. This is the leadership of the state of Minnesota. Faith leaders, labor unions on Friday in protest against the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. To skip on down, their demands include that ICE leave Minnesota. So we're having one of the 50 states asking the law enforcement in their state to leave. We're going to talk about that too. That the ICE officer who killed Good is legal. I think that's interesting. Her name was Good. She was blocking the ICE agents. They got stuck in the snow. She was blocking them, wouldn't let them out. Okay. I don't think that's the reason to kill her. But what's she doing there? What's she doing there? Skip on down. The Minneapolis City Council endorsed this day of action. My point is, this is not a bunch of people that are let out of prison that are protesting. This is the leadership, the union leaders, the faith leaders, some Christians. During the protest, hundreds of clergy members. What's clergy? Well, those are Catholic church leaders, okay? Clergy members called for an end to ICE surge and urged airline companies, they're asking the airlines to join this in opposing ICE in the state. About 100 clergy members were reportedly arrested by police during the action. Showed the video footage. I watched the video footage. I didn't see any clergy being arrested. So it would not surprise me, but what the clergy, that's probably not true. I'd like to think it's not true. Anyway, the day of action culminates in a march in downtown Minneapolis at 2 p.m. Now, it's Friday at 2:51 p.m. on 1/23/26 when I'm recording this. So they are probably protesting right now as I am recording this. We're going to be having dangerously cold weather, -10 all the way down to -20, but did that stop them? No, it didn't. Now, let me tell you about that. It's probably about 1998 or 9, somewhere in there. We had just got on a new Minneapolis St. Paul radio station, very good station. And we had our first Prophecy Club meeting in Minneapolis. And I think it was January. It might have been February, but I think it was January. And I'm thinking, what in the world am I having a meeting in Minneapolis in January? But of course, the weather was bad, like you might expect. It was ice down, snow, and then it was sleeting on top of that. I got to the hotel, slipped and slid all the way to get there. And I thought, nobody's going to show up. Now, the meeting started at 6. Excuse me, the doors opened at 6. The meeting went from 7 to 10:30. By 6 o'clock, by the time we normally open the doors, the room was packed with Christians that wanted to hear that Christian speaker. And I remember watching them come up to the door, and they would walk up, stamp their feet, put their chest out, kind of shake themselves a little bit like this, and walk on in.
Yeah, Andrew, leave it, he.
It was like, whoa, I beat the weather. Whoa, I've conquered the weather. I can conquer the weather. I mean, because Minnesotans, they don't stop. The weather does not stop them. I don't care what the weather is. Now, Texans,
Sudi, we mostly play end day stuff. It's always Christian stuff, and it's not just normal sermons. We show things like this, things that are hard to find on the net. Just interesting stuff. That's what we do here.
Sprinkles. We don't go to church.
It's just a Christian channel. We don't play any other content here.
Point is, these are pretty hardy people. They don't quit easy. And just because it's minus 20 outside Fahrenheit, that doesn't stop them. If they want to go protest, they go protest. And it says more than 100 affiliated local unions. This is the church. This is the labor. This is the political leaders of the community. Local unions.
A lot of our unionists in the building field, they've taken their licenses off them because they were nothing but thugs, the guys who ran the union. Wherever there was buildings, they had contracts in where they were ripping off the guy who paid for the building. They actually disbanded about 3 or 4 big name unions.
Has endorsed the day of action along with dozens of local labor unions. This lady, which I'm not going to play the video of it, Minnesotan clergy says that 100 of them, over 100 of the clergy, had been arrested. Here's another one. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this guy's just doing terrible things. Well, the murder rate drops to the lowest level since the year 1900 across major U.S. cities nationwide. This fact shocked a lot of people. 11 of the 13 crime categories decreased, including homicides. So it says Denver saw the largest decline in homicides at 41%. Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Buffalo, Albuquerque, Long Beach, Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago declined 30% less in the area of murders or homicides. Yeah. 3 of the 35 cities did see an increase in homicides, from 16 in Little Rock, 2% Fort Worth, 1% in Milwaukee. Violent crime as a whole fell. In other words, getting these bad people arrested. They say that some point.
Sooty, I'm not going to ask you what a Scooby-Doo is. I'm not going to hear the answer.
0.05% of the population is all that causes the problem. You get rid of those, and apparently that's what ICE is rounding up. Then all of a sudden, most of the problems go away. Trump floats sending the Navy to U.S. cities. What? He says, I can do whatever I want. President Donald Trump says he can deploy the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, anybody I wanted if he deemed it necessary. So I thought it was necessary, he said. I wouldn't.
Hasn't he sent an aircraft carrier into the Middle East? And that's why the Iranian hierarchy are hiding in their bunkers, because Trump's coming after him.
Dude, if not even the courts would be able to stop me. If he signs that Insurrection Act, he can do what he wants to do. And the courts can't do anything. And that's my understanding. Trump appeared to reference the Insurrection Act, a rarely used law that allows the president, not exactly accurate. It has been used several times. Trump just let it slip. The real reason he wants to use the Insurrection Act, he says, I don't think it is time to invoke it yet, Trump said. It might be some time. It does make life a lot easier for him. You don't have to go through the court system. It's just a matter of a much easier thing to do. Trump sees the Insurrection Act as a free pass to go around the courts, a long time frustration.
No, I tell you, it's not about, it's not what to say. It's not a dream he had. It's a prophet he spoke to. He's mixing that in with what's going on politically with America. So it's not his dream. It's another prophet's image that he's talking about.
As judges,
Dmitry Dudu, some Russian dude who predicted the end of America, and he's been quite accurate so far.
Have blocked dozens of his actions as illegal. Trump believes that the act provides him a license to circumvent the judiciary. So this is really a window into Trump's fantasies about presiding over martial law or over a military dictatorship. Does that sound like? Well, let's put it this way. Okay, let's paint a little picture. Ask you a question. So it goes bad. I think it probably will. Trump signs the Insurrection Act. All of a sudden, the military, just like I said, with the Marines and everything else, called in to put down the rebellion. My guess is what causes the rebellion is when he comes out with a new constitution. He is the probably permanent, as long as he lives, permanent president. That's just a guess. I don't know if that's true.
And guys, remember when Trump was running his second election campaign, he said, you'll never have to vote again. It's all been fixed. Remember he said that?
With all the Constitution, a bunch of new laws, and he is in ultimate.
So has he made up a new Constitution?
Authority, as in?
He thinks he's smarter than Washington and Lincoln.
He has the power of a king, like Nebuchadnezzar. Whom he would he slew, whom he would he kept alive, whom he would he lifted up, whom he would he put down. No one questions him. Well, how would Americans take that? I think a lot of Americans would say, we're going to pick up shooting arms against that. We are not going to put up with that. And so all of a sudden, we decide that as a nation, that we're not going to put up with that. And a lot of people pick up their guns and they go have an internal revolution against Donald Trump. Could that happen? Yeah, that could happen.
Now it's invasion against America, Talia.
Navy SEALs, and Arctic paratroopers. Why Trump's invasion threat was very real. Now, I put in there the word Greenland. Why Trump's Greenland invasion threat was very real. A few days ago, the U.S. Department of War placed about 1,500 troops on standby for deployment at any moment. But the interesting part of it was which troops. He invoked it, he says, in case he invokes the Insurrection Act and sends the U.S. military in the city of Minneapolis. But the choice of the unit was what shocked them. It was the Alaska, trained to fight in the very coldest conditions. They're nicknamed the Arctic Angels. Okay, that would be good to send to Minneapolis, Minnesota. But it would also be very good to send to Greenland. Now, he said he's not going to use military in Greenland. Okay, so where's he going to use that? See, everything still points to an internal revolution. Instead, could they have been preparing to invade the Danish territory of Greenland? Well, yes, they could, or it could also be Minneapolis or both. Now, let's talk about Iran. Iran successfully test fires. This is not standing looking at the sky. They actually, according to this report, fired an ICBM, and they fired it up into Siberia with Russia's approval, and it can reach America. Now, everybody wants to say that Trump destroyed all of the nuclear
I can't tell you, I misread.
weapons and all of the nuclear, everything that Iran had. But what if they didn't? What if Iran does have at least one nuclear warhead that they can send over to America? Are we capable of shooting that one missile down? And you'll see here in the picture, it has 4. This article didn't say whether they had 1 or whether they had 4. So what if they fire all 4 of those at once? I don't have a prophecy that says that happens, and I hope it doesn't. But there's more. Hope we won't have to use it, but Trump says a massive U.S. fleet is headed to Iran. U.S. deploys a naval fleet here near Iran amid protests, crackdown, and executions. Trump issues a warning. Now, it's not in these articles I'm covering today, but some of the other reports said that the amount of armaments that we're sending surrounding Iran was more than what we ever had in Afghanistan, Iraq, and some other, I think it's Venezuela too. In other words,
Well, if that's true.
it is a massive, massive fleet. What are we praying for? Well, I can tell you the fast gap. We're praying that Putin will allow Trump, I would say that Putin will walk away from protecting Iran, Cuba, and Venezuela. And that those nations will have the communists kicked out and democratic, conservative, Christian leadership be put in.
This is only 1 day old, but this is going to be an old footage because Venezuela's already been dealt with, and he didn't mention it here. So this isn't yesterday.
Place. And that Trump will walk away from Ukraine, and that Putin and the Russians will go in and take over, in my opinion, all of Ukraine. It's all Moloch and Baal worshippers. Very, very evil, the most evil nation on the planet. And that Russia will go in there and do the righteous thing and clean up Moloch and Baal worshippers. Couldn't be.
Andrew, he has got that voice, hasn't he?
Worse than what it already is. Okay. Now, massive U.S. fleet headed to Iran. He says, we do have a massive fleet. This is Trump heading in the direction.
He sounds like he was in the Shawshank Redemption.
And maybe we won't have to use it. Trump warned that if Iran proceeds with the execution of protesters, the U.S. response would be severe, potentially exceeding previous military actions against Iranian nuclear facilities. So, what's going on? Are we about to hit Iran? We just hit Venezuela. My opinion on that, I think we shocked the world. I don't think the world really thought that Trump would go in and arrest Maduro, and that if he did,
Okay, there you go. I changed what I just said. I stand corrected.
it would be a bloody battle. No one expected high technology to be used that caused the soldiers to fall down bleeding from the nose and throwing up blood. No one expected 34 of the 40 people that were killed to be Cubans, and that it would be all done in a matter of a few hours and they're out, except for they took over the nation. So I think it shocked a lot of people that Trump would do it and that it would be so overwhelmingly successful, along with this other attack on Iran, overwhelmingly successful. And so at this point, I hope that Trump and also China, but let me back up. I hope that China and Russia will not get angry and do anything about it. And I would like to see the Ayatollah Khomeini and his jihadists, the people that believe that if you don't want to be Muslim, to cut your head off, that's what jihad is. I would like to see that nation replaced with at least some kind of democratic rule, preferably Christian. Yeah, good luck with that. All right, let's go on to the article. So the U.S. military assets include an aircraft carrier, U.S. Abraham Lincoln, and its accompanying warships, which is a lot. I don't know how many, but it's a bunch, just in case action is required. And Trump says, if you go to kill the peaceful demonstrators and execute the detainees, then I'm coming. Well, they've already actually done that. We'll see if he actually goes. We have a lot of ships going in that direction. We'll see what happens. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely.
The Hellfire caves, are they the caves that the elite used in the 1800s? They go there and do their rituals and all that. Is that the cave you're talking about?
So
I think they were Freemasons. I'm not sure.
The Iranians' internet was all blacked out since January the 8th, and that means you can't get a lot of the information out. Even the Iranian government admits that some 3,117 of the civilians have been killed. Security
Oh,
forces,
right.
but they were enemies of God, and they get the death penalty under Iranian law. What does that mean? Well, they consider, and I'm not an expert on Iran.
Iran's killed 30,000 people over the last few weeks.
I'm not an expert on
30,000 people. Gee, that's a generation.
the Muslim, but apparently if you go against the Ayatollah, then that's blasphemy and they kill you for it. So it would be good if the world didn't have Iran, in my opinion. Let me rephrase that. It would be good if the world didn't have that kind of very evil. Huge U.S. armada heading to the Middle East. This is confirming, saying the same thing. Trump voices hopes of avoiding a new military action against Iran. Trump said he hoped that there would not be further U.S. action in Iran, blah, blah, blah. So it's just further confirmation of what we're talking about. Now let's go to fraud. And there's a lot of it, but I'm not covering a whole lot of it today. So Vance to Newsmax says, the fraud is far worse in California than in Minnesota. Well, la-di-da, I'm so surprised. I mean, we got all of those good Christians in California, right? He says, I think we have a fraud problem that is much worse in California than it is in Minnesota. He says, I think she, that's Kelly Loeffler, found probably $500 million of fraud in Minneapolis and the broader Minnesota area, but I think she's found $7 billion worth of fraud in California. This is unfortunately a problem that is much bigger than Minnesota, but it also highlights how absurd this effort is to prevent the immigration enforcement. He urged the protests and political messaging are being used to divert attention from fraud investigations. Okay, so let's paint this picture. All of a sudden, we go over and hit Iran. We're still trying to hold things together in Venezuela. And then it blows up in Minnesota, and it blows up even bigger in California, and there's some other states out there. All of a sudden, Trump says, I got to declare an insurrection, set up martial law. And that, a bunch of Americans say, we'll pull out our shooting irons about that. About that time, July the 4th of 2026 rolls around, our 250th anniversary as a nation. Trump is very, very excited about it. There's big celebrations. That maybe when he comes out with a new constitution, proclaims himself the president of the new republic, well, this is the name of the Republic of the United States. And a lot of Americans don't like that. Could that be the start of the internal revolution? Could it be that within a few years, the Russians are attacking us and taking us out? Could it be that all of a sudden this whole thing with this peace board that Trump is putting together and the Gaza peace thing he's trying to put together turns out to be splitting Israel? All of a sudden, we split Israel, God splits America, and now we're not so strong. We just had the Great Lakes open up all the way down to the Gulf of America, and we're devastated. Catastrophe. It's America. Could it be all this is about to happen? I pray it's not. I'm concerned that it is. I'm concerned that may very well be the things of the future. Okay, so Pentecost.
Okay, guys, I run the same time every day, and I always do at least 2 hours. If you've got a good video, just post it and we can watch it.
Is when Father God married the children of Israel. Oh, really?
Okay, guys, I'm out. God bless.